Happy Saturday, everybody, and this is episode 2 of Minecraft and Memories. Anyway, I'm Tanuki, I am your host, and I am going to go ahead and regale you with another tale of my very long and sordid history of shenanigans and fuckery. As you noted in the title, actually, before I begin this journey down memory lane, I just wanted to take a step back and take a look at this. This was a mansion that I came across in another Minecraft server that I have called Hunter's Dream, and I repurposed it, and turned it into this awesome hub. Now this is just the outdoors, as you can tell. I made torches that go up. I've got my own little private dock. I had some sugarcane over there. I got a mine somewhere over there in those fucking trees. Got a fountain that I made myself. Right there, a little cool little fountain. And anytime you have a house, I don't know why those fucking things ever want to grow back. Anytime you have a house, you always want to have a dumpster. You always want to put a little bit of lava in there because gets rid of shit you don't need. So yeah, I'll take you a quick tour before we get into this memory. There's still a lot of work I have to do on here, as you can tell, but mostly the stuff that I have down here is pretty much all the smelting, all the stuff, everything like that. Got all my smokers and blast furnace and far more shit to work with than the other game I had. There's my little portal to the nether. And I've got stuff in here. And anyway, I set it to peaceful mode because I didn't feel like dealing with mobs, because I'm trying to, I'd like to think about the things that I'm trying to talk about and not have to worry about hunger and farming for food and all this other nonsense. So I'm just kind of like, I'm over it. Anyway, so yeah, as you notice on my title, episode 2 is about something called the U.C.T.F. Now, before I begin, let me preface this. But oh right, I forgot one other thing. Big shout out to Oni Black Mage. Recently, he hit 75K in subscribers. Awesome guy. I know I'm nowhere fucking near him in subscribers. It did take him a long time to get to that point. But if anybody is watching and you want somebody, he's a great guy to listen to. He does a series on YouTube called Recapitation, where he essentially recaps a story from various JRPGs, from like the Final Fantasy franchise, and his most recent video was Tales of Fantasia, which was not released in America. At least the good version wasn't released in America. That was his most recent one. He does have a Patreon, of course, that you could support, where he does have exclusive content, as you do. So if you're interested in giving it, see, I think of him as the American VatiVidya, minus the fact that he doesn't do lore because he's not a lore channel, as stated by himself. He's not a lore channel, but he has a great way of explaining things, right? So definitely, God, I gotta go ahead and start. I keep thinking I'm playing Bloodborne. He has a great voice and a great guy to listen to. So he's like the American VatiVidya. I know that's high marks coming from me, but he really is a super nice guy, and he answered my question on his Q&A, which I thought was really cool because I've submitted questions to Q&As before, and I've always been passed over because I just didn't want to drop $10 to some motherfucker who didn't want to get a job. Meanwhile, this guy works, actually has a job, and does this on the side. Again, as stated by him, so kudos. So, yeah, unlike, people like, I don't know, Geekdom 101, sorry to put him on blast like that, but pretty soon, he's going to start charging people just for his videos. It's the way it's looking. And he's supposed to be the quote-unquote authority on Dragon Ball on YouTube, and I'm like, you're really not, kid, but, you can think whatever you want. I'm not, no, I actually am throwing shade, because he's never going to hear this, and I really could give a fuck less, but, Anyway, actually, I'm gonna say this right now. This towards the latter part of this. Yeah, there's gonna be some serious shade getting thrown around, and I really don't care. Um, so before I do, I'm gonna go set myself up on a mission. I've got coal, got plenty of iron, I've got gold, and I got plenty of diamonds, some emerald. I don't know. Maybe I can wander around and maybe I can go into the nether or something like that. But I do need. I think the last time I was wanting to do the. Oh, that's right. You know what? I was working on making a sky bridge. Anyway, but we're not here for Minecraft. This is just something to play in the background, and it's something that kind of worked alongside memories. I might change the format up. It might be something else in memories. I don't know, or whatever. I'll figure it out. Anyway, so back. Let me take you all back, far back to 1990s. You know, back on the internet was really just kind of like a new. Wasn't really too new. The internet had specifically around 98, 99. Um, you know, things weren't, you know, internet was in full swing and people were starting to figure it out, and old people were like, where's my typewriter, you know? And around this time, this was around the time that, you know, GeoCities was your go-to for websites, or Angel Fire, you know, things like that that Justin Wang would talk about in most of his Tales from the Internet stuff, which I'm a huge fan of him, by the way. Um, there was a community starting to pop up, and it was the online role playing community. And this was also around the time anime started to get real big in America. Okay, so everybody was wanting to be a character. Everybody was wanting to portray a character some way or another. I don't know if cosplay was that big around that time. I'm not sure. I didn't get into the con scene until much later on. But around that time, there were starting to be chat rooms that would pop up where people could basically role play as characters. And now, this is the harmless role playing. I'm not talking about the role playing that you could do on like fucking FetLife or something. But this is like when you are a character, either an OC, original character, or a character from an anime or whatever, and you play that character, even in an original storyline or a continuation or something, and it really made it really drew out a lot of artistic content. Drew out a lot of people's ability to write. God damn it! Again, the fucking their ability, you know, it really helped people excel at building a narrative and sinister, you know, all that paragraph structure and everything else involved with that one. And I, you know, by that time there were a lot of chat rooms that popped in there, and the majority of the chat rooms were anime related. Usually something big around that time, like Pokemon or Sailor Moon or Ranma One Half or something like that. And I picked up something. What okay then? Um, so some of the real big anime, like I said, Pokemon, Sailor Moon, Ranma One Half, and Dragon Ball Z, of course. Um, but there was one site in particular that I was told about by a friend of mine. I've been friends with him for, gosh, almost 20 years. The longest friend I've had. Him and I have never met in person. But we've been friends for almost close to 20 years. That's my buddy Ernie. And he told me about a site called the U.C.T.F., which is stands for Ultimate Crossover Tournament Fighting. And yeah, the name's a bit ambiguous, right? But I mean, in the same breath, it was a website that, on the surface, would let you submit an application to join, because that's, yeah. And then the idea was that you could create your own character, or you could create an already existing character and portray said character in your own original, either your original storyline or a storyline that runs concurrent with the source material that they're from. Sounds really cool, right? Now, keep in mind, and one thing I want to say, keep in mind that me going here was long before I discovered Gaia Online, which I will admit fucking rabbit, which I will admit I was a part of, and I loved it, and I'm an OG member of Gaia Online, and I will proudly say that. And if you don't like it, you can fucking swing on my you know what. Um, but back to what I was saying. Let's explore the desert. Back to what I was saying. I mean, essentially, like I said, apply, post, and blah, blah, blah. Now, let me give you a little insight as to what the U.C.T.F really is. The U.C.T.F., and I'm going to say was because the site's dead now, which I find really fucking... Aw, it's stuck. Oh, sorry, buddy. Food! Well, I'll take the XP. The site, which is now dead, and I'm not going to be shouting it out because fuck him. The site was run by a guy, or actually is still run by the very same douchebag, the very same loser. He was... Come on, give me a scoot. Yeah, no, I want a scoot. He was fucking obsessed with two things. Ah, son of a bitch. He was obsessed with two things. Wrestling and Vegeta. Okay? Vegeta from Dragon Ball Z. The Prince of all Saiyans, or whatever the fuck. And just state right now, no disrespect to Chris Sabat. I hate his fucking Vegeta. And I love Brian Drummond's Vegeta. And that's I'm sorry. I know Brian Drummond voiced primarily in the Ocean dub. That's great and everything. But that was the dub that I remember watching when I got into Dragon Ball Z, and that's the version of Vegeta that I will always love. My brother would agree with me if he was on the mic, but he's not. But again, no disrespect to Chris Sabat. I know he's a hard worker and everything like that, and a great guy. But I don't like the pseudo-faux British accent that Vegeta has. And while I understand that his goal was to make him sound more princely, or at least that's what some fucking Spurg told me at one point, which I think he was talking out his ass. Brian Drummond has a far more sinister Vegeta, at least before he essentially got cut, not cucked, that's Yamcha, but he got pretty much his nuts cut off and became a family man. And, oh, look at another turtle. And, yeah. God damn it, just give me a scoot. So anyway, what the hell is that? Okay. Turtle. Anyway. So anyway, back to what I was saying. So yeah, this guy was like fucking obsessed with Vegeta, man. And on top of that, again, he was just obsessed with wrestling. He was a fucking mark. Okay, now listen. I am a wrestling fan. I am. But I'm not a fucking mark. And I'm not a smark either. I know the business. Both my brother and I know the business very well. We respect the business, and we respect everything inside and out. There is a huge difference between a fan and a mark, and he is a fucking mark. And on top of that, he built his character, built himself as a top heel, and this guy who is this Vince McMahon-esque character, and I'm like, it's fucking Vegeta. Okay, like if you're gonna really try to portray the character, at least do it right. But no, he portrayed him as this fucking savvy Vince McMahon business guy type person, and built him as this top heel, unbeatable, and all this other shit. And it's like, look, I get it. It's your website, but if you're going to be if you're going to lead the website or own the website, don't get involved with the shit. Just maintain it and make sure nobody fucks around and tries to hack it or whatever. But don't, it's like DMs who create a bunch of NPCs just so they can play alongside the players. It's like, look, I understand making a single NPC to interact with the players for like a story section. I know, God knows, I'm guilty of it too, right? But to make like a super powerful NPC, because it just takes the shine away, right? Well, this motherfucker, and he would do that, and I didn't find out about a lot of this stuff. I found out a lot of this stuff in my course of the time there, and again, this is all coming back to me on memory. Well, anyway, so I signed up, and I made my character. So the character I made, his name was Ryu Kaiza. All right, Kisa, and Ryu, obviously like Ryu from Street Fighter. I modeled him after. Actually, the name was two parts. The character itself was modeled from Ryu from Breath of Fire 3. Okay, so I'm a huge fan of the franchise, and the third game is one of my favorite RPGs, one of my favorite JRPGs actually, and it's a horribly underrated RPG series that I wish would get a little bit more love. But it's Capcom. Look what they did to Mega Man, my beloved Mega Man franchise. They straight up fucked him in the ass, and that was the end of that. But anyway, I digress. So I modeled my character after Ryu from Breath of Fire 3. Clearly, these idiots, when I say these idiots, I'll get to that in a second, have never played a fucking RPG in their life, which is totally fine. I understand that, but it don't take much time to message a dude and go, hey, so where's your character from? Or, hey, what game is your character from? No, they couldn't be bothered. Absolutely not. So I made him after that, gave him his backstory, some of his abilities. I wasn't going to make Ryu exactly the way he was in Breath of Fire 3 because he was OP. The guy could turn into different types of dragons and just wreck shit. So I wasn't going to do that. I have no idea what I'm looking for. I'm just kind of walking around at this point, but that's fine. I didn't have, I just, that's who I modeled him from. So anyway, his name was an amalgamation of two different names. It was Ryu, the first name was from Breath of Fire 3. And in Kaiza, I took from Isato Kaiza, from a game called Go Kaiser. I'd never played the game because I never owned the system that it was on. It was a fighting game. But there was one OVA movie called Go Kaiser the movie, or Go Kaiser Voltage Fighters the movie. Okay, my brother and I watched it back when, again, this is when the International Film Channel would actually occasionally play anime movies, and we watched Go Kaiser for the first time. And he actually made a character on U.C.T.F. Modeled after Kyosuke Shigure, which was another character. I don't think he was in the fighting game. I'm pretty sure he wasn't. I could be wrong. If I am wrong, feel free to let me know in the comments below. But I'm pretty sure Kyosuke was not in the game, but Isato was. He was the main character. So I just changed his name, the F from a Z to an S. So Ryu Kaiza was my character, and in the forums, you would post your story or your episode, chapter, whatever you want to call it, and that's what I did. Now, back then, my writing ability wasn't as bad as most people. It was actually very refined. Nowadays I can write fucking amazing material, usually right off the top of my head if I wanted to. If I really, really push myself, I can get, a lot of work done. But anyway, so I knew the quality of my work was really good. And one of their rules was, actually, I'm bouncing too far ahead. Let me back up a little bit. So once your character's created, you literally, your character becomes a wrestler. I'm not making this up. Your character at that point, regardless of the character you use, okay, your character becomes a professional wrestler. That's how your character is portrayed in the matches and the pay-per-view, and again, I'll get to all this stuff in a second. I'm gonna explain everything. Um, and then you pick your entrance theme. You heard it. You pick your entrance theme. So I was kind of like, okay, cool, because back then I was really into wrestling. I'm not really into wrestling all that much anymore, because I don't like the direction that wrestling is going into these days. I don't like the stupid gimmicks. I fucking hate marks and smarks, and I hate it. And the fan base is usually a bunch of fucking nerds that are just they're god awful. They ruin everything, and I seriously hope they get Lou Gehrig's disease. But anyway, so once you've created your character and you've assigned all this other shit, it goes through a quote unquote approval process. That approval process don't mean dick. Okay, it's basically you're put on hold, then they add you to the roster with their HTML and their formatting and all that stuff, and then you are officially on the roster as a superstar or whatever. Um, Now the next part that happens is and again, remember, okay, Vegeta, his name is Jamal, or at least that's what everybody said his name was Jamal. Okay, now I have a friend of mine who his name is Jamal, and he's an awesome fucking guy. I used to work with him at IBM software. I miss him. He drives a sweet, sexy Jaguar, and he's one of the dopest dudes I've ever met in my life. And he's a hardcore Kansas City Chiefs fan. So much love to you, JM. If you hear this, I miss you, bro. But anyway, no, this guy, and it's sad that you got to share a name with this fucking dingleberry. But anyway, for the sake of the video, I'm just gonna call him, President Vegeta or Prez Vegeta or Dickhead, whichever one rolls off the tongue better. So anyway, all right. So then he would have these events that would happen identical to what shows were out at the time. Well, this being the 90s and on the cusp of 2000, this was during, I want to say, pretty much around either in the middle or towards the end of the Monday Night Wars. So WCW versus WWF, because it didn't turn to WWE at that time, because the World Wildlife Fund wasn't like, hey, we need money, so we're gonna sue you. Um, so I want to get to that Sky Island. Let's go do that. So he would have like wrestling events on there, like on your computer, which is basically like WWF in your house, right? Which was a pay-per-view event, I think. Yeah, it was a pay-per-view event, and then he would have gosh, oh fuck, he would have like his own version of Halloween Havoc. Like the motherfucker was not original, like by a long shot. Like he was not original, okay, when it came to his events. Now, I mean, stressing originality where character creation is concerned. Obviously, I'm a hypocrite if I complain about that. But I'm talking like when it came to his own events. I don't know if 33 blocks are gonna reach that, but we'll find out. Boop, 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 boop. Getting really higher. Hey, yay! I'm on a sky island. All right, cool. Anyway, so anyway. Keep my mouth, keep my throat wet. Anyway, so God, I lost my fucking train of thought. Right. Anyway, so yeah, he had no originality when it came to his events. Okay, um, which says a lot, honestly. But yeah, like I said, he would have in your house or on your computer, and pay-per-views would be just these stupid fucking names, and then he would have title belts like the Anime Championship or whatever the fuck. I mean, like, you know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, because this is gonna bother me, a lot. I am actually going to, because I took some notes, because your boy, I like to take notes, right? So some of his pay-per-views were like, okay, so he had like CyberSlam instead of SummerSlam, Halloween Hash instead of Halloween Havoc, Judgment Day, which clearly rips off WWE's Judgment Day event, on your computer instead of in your house, Only the Strong. Okay, great movie, stupid thing. Stable Wars was like the fucking. This is stuff that probably happened after I left. Summer Chaos and Winter Warfare, Saturday Massacre, and then he had some specials. He had Friday Fury. Those are pay-per-views, right? Friday Fury was kind of like the weekly show, so to speak. And the thing is that he would take the fighters or the people that were on the roster who were combat ready or combat capable, and he would pit them against each other in matches. But when he did it, you had no control over the outcome of the match. Now, listen, I know that where wrestling is concerned, it is predetermined. Okay, and to his one and only credit, I will give him that for uh, for keeping that, you know, in place. But it's the fact that when it comes to matches being predetermined, there's a reason the story writers will put somebody over versus, or will have somebody win versus somebody losing. There's usually a reason, either because it's for storyline purposes or they have backstage heat. There's like a whole bunch of different things that, a whole bunch of combination of things that could potentially lead to a wrestler who can get a massive push. Which, if you don't know wrestling terms, I apologize. A push is kind of like, it's kind of like a promotion in a way, where you're taking a wrestler from like mid card or mid tier, and you're marketing him or her out to be better than they are, and you're giving them a chance to really shine on their levels of performance. And if it goes over with the crowd, which are really the ones that honestly, they're really the ones who kind of, I guess, keep the fate in their hands to a wrestler. Because if the crowd doesn't like them, then at which point, then yeah, the story writers will like put the axe on him or drop him down in mid card or bury him or whatever. The wrestling business is very fickle, and it's very hard to explain if somebody who's not into wrestling versus somebody who's loved wrestling for 30 years. That'd be me. It's real hard to explain how the inner workings work. So please bear with me. But for those of you who know the lingo and know what I'm talking about, you understand what I mean. Sorry. Well, anyway, so he would write out, or he or his fucking cronies, which he had a lot of them, and they play a major role later on when I expose them for the pieces of shit that they are. Um, they would write out the entire uh, show or matches or whatever, or the pay-per-views or whatever. You had no control over your character whatsoever. Okay. Um, and the shit part about it all, was that at first I didn't know what determined your character's ability to win the fight. Okay, I had no idea. Um, but they didn't really tell you either, actually. I think later on down the road they finally put up an explanation as to how your character performs in the fight. But the truth of the matter is, it doesn't matter how it works. See, Jamal, or I shouldn't say Jamal, President Vegeta is, again, he's a big fucking mark. And he, in his mind, he thinks he's Vegeta, literally thinks he's Vegeta, um, and thinks that he runs a real wrestling company. Well, he doesn't, because he's a moron. And he just has a little piddly website that's pretty much just I don't know why the fuck it's still around, but it's whatever. So anyway, but yeah, that's how the matches were written. They were written out by him or one of his fucking idiot friends, and again, that'll come into play later. So I started posting in my own thread, keeping my own original story active, because that's what I thought I was supposed to do. Thankfully, Ernie, who portrayed Brave Fencer Musashi on the site, kind of gave me some tips to help me out. Well, I wanted to, because Ernie and I were good friends in real life, I wanted to maybe try to do a crossover thread and make it to where, like him and I were kind of like brothers, but not brothers, right? Because I knew the guy, because this is before I became jaded, and yeah, I know a lot of you people are like, well, oh, Tanuki, this is just sour grapes. It's really not. I mean, sure, back then, with everything that happened to me, oh, absolutely, it would be sour grapes. But the joke's on him because, well, he hasn't accomplished jack shit. I have. He hasn't. And that's funny to me. Because I love being a winner. So, it's just that I like calling people out. And it's funny to me because a lot of people don't do it. Some people just don't have the balls to call people on their bullshit. I do. Because what the fuck are they going to do to me? You know what I mean? So, anyway, so I proposed the idea because after looking back at some of the older posts, why am I here again? Oh, right. I think these guys can trade. Looking back on some of the older posts, I had realized that a lot of the matches that they were having were written like a wrestling match. And I said, okay, cool. So then, I was like, okay, well then maybe I can, since I knew the business, I was like, maybe I can do some kind of like a cross thread and maybe have, because I spoke to Ernie about it, and I said, what if we did something like, we're not brothers, but we're close, like we were close friends and at a something like a swordsmanship or something like that, or something like that. We came up with a bunch of ideas, and we finally settled on one, and we pitched the idea to the one guy. See, here's the thing, okay? One thing I'm going to point out about Jamal. God damn it, I gotta quit saying his fucking name. One thing about President Vegeta is that he would never directly engage with anybody because he thought he was better than everybody, because he thought he was Vegeta. So he would delegate responsibilities to a crony, this little piece of shit who was sniffing his jockstrap and riding his dick for years, named Kaede. At the time, I didn't know how to properly pronounce Japanese names, so I just called him Kaede. It wasn't until much later on when I started to read up and do more research and study, not watch anime, I figured out proper enunciation for words, and I said, oh, it's Kaede. Okay, cool. But for the sake of it, yeah, Kaede. He was the guy we'd always have to talk to. He was the second banana, the major domo, the fucking flunky, and he's just a general jackass. Like, he was just as arrogant as President Vegeta was. Okay? And it was rough dealing with him. But of course, it's anonymity. It's like my buddy John says, anonymity plus social media or social platform equals asshole, right? And that's kind of what it was. It was anonymity. It was what it was, because I didn't know the guy's real name. I don't know where he fucking lived, and I don't care. I hope his fucking house burnt down at some point. But the thing is that he was the guy we had to go to for any kind of issues or storyline ideas, whatever, which is fine. We understood that there was a chain of command, so to speak, and I was fine with that, So anyway, we pitched the idea to him, And sure, he said, yeah, no problem. Blah, 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 blah. So my first match happens. Okay, my first match, and he has. This is so stupid. Like, look, like really thinking about it, it's so fucking dumb. He has me and Ernie's character Musashi come out of to the ring because apparently, again, the guy thinks he's a fucking wrestler and he's not. He's a fucking mark. Um, he has us coming out licking lollipops, and there's two announcers, Ralph and Bob, which are just about as dumb because they try so hard. The way he portrays them, he tries so hard to be the two fucking puppets from, not necessarily the two puppets from the Muppet Show, but I want to say like maybe Nick Diamond and Johnny Gomez from Celebrity Deathmatch with a little bit of Michael Cole and Jerry the King Lawler mixed into it. Like, he really tried. He was a tryhard. Let's be honest. And so I'm gonna take my boat for a spin. So he just did that. Okay, and he's like, oh, this is his first match ever here in the U.C.T.F. And, oh, okay, great, they're brothers. Why are they licking lollipops and all this other shit? They essentially purposely shitting on our characters. Like, what the fuck? And I'm reading it going, okay, that's weird, but oh, whatever, you know. And I ended up fighting against some asshole named Dark Knight Proto or whatever the fuck, who changed his name and whatever. The bottom line is, long story short, I ended up losing the match, but not before Lodi and Lenny from WCW showed up during the match and attacked my character. Well, I don't understand. Like, so reading it, I'm like, now at the time, now reading it now back, like reading it now, like I laugh at it because of how fucking stupid it is. But at the time, I was like, why are WCW wrestlers like, what is this? Like, this makes no sense to me. And it didn't. At the time, it made absolutely no fucking sense to me. It wasn't until much later that I found out the reason why President Vegeta and his fucking, his goon squad were doing this shit to me. Because I wasn't the only one he did this to. And I got some dirt on one of them that, well, pretty much going to be saying something out loud, buddy. So he says, so I messaged Kaede, and I said, hey, look, I mean, I don't care if I lost the fight or whatever, but what's the deal with the guys from WCW popping in? Like, is this, is this kind of breaking the fourth wall or whatever? And I forgot what he said to me, but it was a smart-ass response. Something along the lines of like, it's the U.C.T.F, anything can happen, so just, suck it up or whatever. And I was like, okay, well, I don't understand. I said, I didn't get a chance to control my character. So how am I supposed to give myself a fighting chance or whatever? Because at the time I was just starting to play Dungeons and Dragons, right? So my first thought was, okay, if this is the kind of role playing it is, then I should be able to like roll a dice or an online dice or something like that to be able to determine if my character attacks or something like that, right? Or something. Well, he fires back with the hard truth. Oh, you don't control your characters. We do. And I said, that's stupid. Why would you control our what? I said, why would you control our characters when it's our characters? Like, why? That's dumb. Then we don't get a fighting chance at that point. And they're like, oh, it's all about your posts. And I said, well, I've made plenty of posts here. And he goes, no, it's about quality, not quantity. And I'm thinking to myself, have you read my shit? And I ain't about to toot my own horn, but my writing then was top tier. right? So, and looking at, and I went back today, actually, earlier today, and I looked back at some of the older archives because they only went back as far as 2002. Okay, I left their company in April 7th of 2000, and we'll get to that in a second. We'll get to that in a little bit. I left April 7th, 2000, unceremoniously, and by that logic, I mean my character was killed. And I looked at some of the quality of writing that people, and absolute fucking garbage, absolute fucking garbage. Can't craft a narrative to save their fucking life. Sentence structure was terrible. Grammar was fucking just disgusting. I swear to God, it was horrible fucking writing, absolutely atrocious. And I'm like, wait, what? You're gonna say my shit was bad, buddy? So anyway, after he gives me that little tidbit, I called people out. At that point, I was, nah, fuck that shit. I didn't take that line down, and I started calling people out. And I said basically that no, I was like I started comparing my writing to other people who were getting these wins and these titles and all this, all these accolades, and their writing was absolute fucking shit. Absolute shit. I would find out once again. I would find out much later on in life why this was the way it was. And anyway, so started calling people out. Well, my losing streak started happening. I think I've only ever gotten one win. I had 14 fights and only one win. And it was after that win was when shit started to go downhill. When they started fucking with me. Because I wasn't going to stand for their shit. I tried reaching out to President Vegeta, but he couldn't be bothered because, again, he, in his mind, thought that he was a real anime character and couldn't be bothered, right, to address issues going on with his site. No. Rather, instead, there's those fucking noises again. God damn. Rather, instead, he leaves it to a fucking flunky, Kaede, who is essentially just basically making the place that much more unenjoyable for people, you know? And he made it unenjoyable for me. He made it very unenjoyable for me. But anyway, so I tried reaching out to him. And I was like, I asked him, I said, could you please intervene? Can you please, say something? Because this is 100% unfair. And I really think that this is bullshit, and I really think that something needs to be done. And of course, every single time I tried to, Kaede would just be like, no, he doesn't want to talk to you. You're dealing with me. It's like, why the fuck? I was like, I've never had a single word with this guy. How does he, or no, he said, now I remember, he doesn't want to talk to you. He doesn't like you. And I said, what the fuck? I've never had a single word with this guy. And it's true. I never had a single fucking word with that guy. So how the fuck are you going to dislike somebody you haven't even talked to? Gee, I wonder why. I'll get to that, and I'll get to that a little bit later. So, 13 fights, I lost. And finally had enough of their bullshit. I was like, you know what? This site is absolute ass. The mods and administrators on this site are absolute fucking stupid. And I don't want to be a part of it anymore. Just erase my character. I'm done. I don't even want a last match. I don't want nothing. Well, this is what they decided to do. Okay. Oh, actually, sorry. Let me back up a little bit. The deciding factor for me to leave this stupid fucking website was they had the other thing that President Vegeta was obsessed with outside of Dragon Ball Z or Vegeta and wrestling. He really liked hentai. He loved him some hentai. Specifically, La Blue Girl. Now, if you don't know what La Blue Girl is, it's incredibly dated. It doesn't hold up well to, I guess, a lot of hentai that's out right now. I don't know. I don't go out of my way to watch it. But back then, it was a long series of uncensored, hentai. A lot of hentai is very censored these days. La Blue Girl wasn't, and they put on some weird fucking shit. All right. I guess if I can remember correctly, I think it's centered around a girl. She was like a ninja or a sex ninja named Miko or whatever, and like all of her techniques were all like sex based or something. It was really weird. Like her fucking pubes could turn into like iron pins and fire off of her shit, and like her nipples could shoot milk acid. I'm not making this shit up. I'm dead fucking serious. Look it up if you don't believe me. And anyway, there were two other characters who not I wouldn't say palled around with her, but one of them was like her rival, and her name was Fubuki, and she was this blonde-haired bitch. She was an absolute bitch. I'm gonna just say that right now. She was an absolute bitch, and did not like Miko. She was her rival, and she had this interesting ability to make her clit grow to the size of a very large cock, which she would then proceed to fuck women with. Again, not making this up. Go look it up if you don't believe me. So, how the hell do I get out of this fucking fortress? Well, anyway, so what ended up happening was they did something to where actually there were two reasons why I quit this stupid fucking website. This is the first one. So they did something to where I don't know, I got attacked by Miko for some reason. She came in. It was during a pay-per-view. She came in with some other idiot and pulled the whole because the guy was a heel. So of course he had he had a woman with him. Usually heel wrestlers will pal around with a female manager. That's usually been the norm. There are and have been a few exceptions to the rule, but typically when a wrestler is a heel, they'll have a female manager. So anyway, this wrestler shows up with Miko, and fucking proceeds to just fucking wreck me. Well, then at one point, something happened to where my character was humiliated, by Fubuki with her, interestingly, with her clit cock, so to speak. But the motherfucker couldn't spell clit to save his life because he'd never touched a woman ever. So he spelled it cliche, right? Cliche dick was how he spelled it because he couldn't spell for shit because he's an idiot. And so he's like, oh, she gets you with her cliche dick. Like, what? So her dick's a cliche? So it's something that happens all the time? And oh, come on, man, really? It irritated me because this guy is supposed to be, such a brilliant writer. He calls himself President Vegeta, and he can't even write one word that's 4 fucking letters. Like, seriously, how stupid do you have to be? Okay, it's 4 words. You sound it out. A dictionary can help you. But no, he couldn't be bothered. Anyway, my character was ceremoniously humiliated. And the reason I'm here in the Nether, by the way, is to get soul sand. Just letting people know. So after that happened, 2000 hit, and this was right around the time Chris Jericho had made his Raw debut. And I fucking loved his entrance theme. I really did. Break the walls down. I fucking loved it, man. I didn't know who Chris Jericho was because I didn't watch WCW, so I didn't know who he was at the time then. Of course, I know who he is now, but at the time, I didn't know who he was. Now, my brother did. I had some friends that knew he was coming because during that time, they were doing a lot of promo packaging with showing this Y2K countdown. One of his nicknames was Mr. Millennium. I didn't know that. So whenever he made his debut on Raw and had that huge pop, and he showed up and he was real young looking and he wasn't like all fat now and all that, like he was he was over, instantly fucking over. So I liked this fucking entrance theme. I was like, cool, I'm gonna change up my entrance theme from Burn Up, which was the intro to Burn Up W, It's an anime that I've never fucking watched, but I picked it because it was a suggestion given to me by my buddy Ernie. I changed it from Burn Up to Break the Walls Down. This is where shit started to hit the fan. After that, um, they started having Chris Jericho show up to my matches to fuck with me. Either he would be like watching me from a balcony or watching me from. It's like, come on, man. Like, here's the thing: if they would have taken just a fucking second out of their day, from jerking off to anime chicks, if they'd have just taken one fucking second to message me and go, "Hey, man, would you mind changing your entrance theme for your character?" I'd have been like, "Yeah, absolutely, sure." I would not have argued. I'd be like, "Yeah, cool, no worries." But couldn't be bothered because, yeah, just couldn't do it. Couldn't reach out to me, so they decided to fuck with me. And the way they fucked with me was that exactly. Wait, I thought Soul Sand. So, in the end, I got sick of the bullshit. I got sick of the run-ins. I got sick of the loss. No matter how good my posts were, and they were good, they were very good. And I said had enough. I'm like, I'm done. I don't want to be in this fucking site anymore. I'm leaving. I'm off to greener pastures. That's plus I was going through some shit in my personal life at the time, so I didn't want to be involved in all that. So I just said I'm done. Fucking just delete my character. Be done with it. Well, they didn't delete my character, and instead, what they decided to do was kill me off. They killed me off. How do I put out fires? Oh. They killed me off in the most unceremonious way possible because they had to stick it home. First and foremost, they had a stipulation that I never agreed to, that I never even brought up, never even talked about, which was if I had a match against a character named Cham Cham, then I would have to leave the U.C.T.F. Forever. What the fuck? I thought I was supposed to get blue fire. Isn't that what that is? Hold on 1 second. They said if I won this match against this character named Cham Cham, that I would, I would be able to. Okay, no, that's Netherrack. Okay, this is Soul Sand. Boop, 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 boop. Blue fire. That's what I'm wanting. Okay. So, I was supposed to win this match against this character named Cham Cham. Okay. I think if I recall, I believe Cham Cham was a character from another fighting game franchise. And I want to say it wasn't Art of Fighting, it wasn't King of Fighters. What was that other fucking stupid fighting game that didn't get any further? World Heroes. I want to say it's World Heroes. I'm gonna fact check real quick. Hold on, because I'm curious now. And if it's the same one I'm thinking of, I believe this character. Hold on, Cham Cham. Cham Cham was like a cave girl or something. I think. Why am I getting these? Cham Cham. Okay, wait. I'm sorry. She is. Okay, yeah. She's the cave girl. That's. Okay, right. Okay. So she's the younger sister of Tam Tam. Okay, so Tam Tam is. She was in Samurai Showdown? Cham Cham was in Samurai Showdown. Okay, right. So she fought with a boomerang. She's like this little girl. She's like 13, and she wears like cat garb or whatever the fuck, and she has a boomerang as a weapon. Okay. Young girls. That's going to be important later. So keep that in mind. Anyway, so their alleged stipulation for me was that I had to beat her in. Hold on, am I going to have enough for? Yes. I had to beat her in a fight, or if I lost, then I would leave the U.C.T.F forever. Okay, I had already quit by that time. I was done. So this stipulation that they had put out was fucking null and void because I didn't find out about it until Ernie told me. Because I walked the fuck away. Like I had left like 2 weeks prior to that. I had one match a week before, and then after I had won that but lost it because it was like a Swordmaster tournament or some stupid shit. Um, I had already submitted. I told him I was done. I didn't want to be a part of the stupid website anymore, and I already left. This happened a week after I had left, and I was already long gone by then. The stipulation that was talked about was 100% made up, and I had no knowledge of it until Ernie had told me about it, and I was like, wait, what? But I didn't really care because I had already moved on to greener pastures, and but I went back to read the post, right? The short of it is this. Um, this character, who is a shit. By the way, I mean I've played Samurai Showdown quite a bit, and this character is like C tier. She's not very good. She's no Hyomaru. Just putting that out there. Sorry for anybody who's a Cham main, but pick a different character. Um, there's probably gonna be people like, dude, what are you talking about, man? Cham's the best. No, she's really not. She's fucking garbage tier. But you know, you can live in your delusional world all you want. Um, anyway, the oh gosh, I lost my fucking train of thought thinking about this bullshit. Um, so I read the match front to back, and it was one fucking event. They did this for the sole purpose of humiliating me to everybody that was on the site, right? Because that's what they do. Um, and again, that's going to come here in a little bit because I haven't gotten to the meat and potatoes of everything. Boop, blue fire. That's better. All right, because I fucking love the color blue. There's weird noises again. All right. Anyway, so I went and they did one in a one-off pay-per-view. Okay, which they had some stupid, once again, some dumb Animu character putting a VCR tape into there, and I guess it was a secret a secret event that happened or whatever, some stupid shit, and it was a green Hell in a Cell match. Okay, that's which is funny because Tam Tam's level or Cham Cham's level, I think, is called Green Hell. Okay, so they call it Green Hell in a Cell. No worries. All right, fine. And it she literally just beat my ass up and down the fucking ring. Like it's Phantom Membrane. Shit, I'll hang on to that in case I get an elytra. But yeah, she literally that little character just whooped my natural ass up and down that fucking ring. Okay, I didn't stand a chance. I did not stand a chance. All because they were mad at me for calling them out on their bullshit. Well, tough shit, tough titty. That's just the way the world works, and it's not gonna go away. So yeah, and then she beats me up. Mick Foley shows up out of fucking nowhere because it's Mick Foley. Hands her a barbed wire tube. I'm giving you the highlights, mind you. I'm not going to go through the whole fucking match, but um, gives her a barbed wire wrapped 2x4. She's speaking in caveman talk or whatever the fuck, so it's very like just I hate fire, fire bad, meat good. She's getting that whole fucking caveman talk thing going. And she proceeds to pummel me with it, calls me Dragon Boy, stupid Dragon Boy, hits me in the nuts with it, says now Dragon Boy, Dragon Girl, all this other shit. The announcers are going apeshit because they don't like me, because they're extensions of fucking President Vegeta and all of his stupid fucking mod friends. So like, I had literally nobody rooting for me at that point. And that's fine. I don't care, right? Because I mean, it was Where where I'm at is so much better than where they are now, from what I understand. Anyway, so I was left. My character was left defeated in the ring. Okay, Champ hops out, and out of nowhere, the Y2K song plays. Right, and out comes Chris Jericho, pulls out 2 sticks of dynamite, shoves them up my character's ass, and blows me up. That's how they killed me off. Yeah. Oh, uncertain. Kind of lackluster in my opinion. Honestly, they could have gone with something a little bit better. But their writing was absolute garbage in the first place. Even for the mods of the site, their writing was fucking terrible. So I found, like I said, I found this out about a week later. I said I didn't care. I left, and that was the end of that. Um, well, it wasn't until about, oh gosh, I want to say about maybe 3 years later, I got an email. Not an email, I'm sorry. At the time, I had, gosh, when did that site start? Hang on a second. Because I don't want to get my dates incorrect on this one. Because after that, shortly after that, I believe, is when I discovered Gaia Online. Let me double check. It would be 3 years later, correct. So about 3.5 years later, in 2003, I want to say it was probably summer of that year, is when I joined Gaia Online. And I loved it. Yes, Gaia Online had some problems, but a majority of their toxicity was from behind the scenes and didn't really have to do with the people there. I mean, yeah, every community has its ilk, but the best part about it is their threads were awesome in the forums, man. If you wanted to go into if you wanted to find a thread where a club was happening and you just wanted to be a bartender, you go into that thread and become a bartender. If you wanted to be, your character wanted to be a mercenary, then you go into that thread and become a mercenary. You know, like that was the cool thing about Guy Online. There was so many fucking options to choose from. It was so cool. And yeah, I'm gonna talk it up because I had a lot of fun on Guy Online. I actually ended up creating, I want to say I took Dios Flack from Star Ocean, the second story. I created one character, and then when Dios Flack, I created one character for a while, but I really didn't start to get into the forum thing until after Star Ocean, the second story, had came out for PS1, and then I recreated a new character. I started a new character, and I created Dios Flack to use on the forums, and that's when my passion for online role playing had really started to pick up because it was a lot easier and people were interacting regularly and you didn't have to fight. You could just interact and you could just craft a story and continue that story, and new people could hop in and get involved in the conversation. You could put rules at the beginning of the thread of what's allowed and what's not allowed. Like, that was the cool thing I loved about Guy Online's forums, was that you could do so much, right? I mean, yeah. You could dress your avatar up in different things, and yeah, you had to pay real money with some of that stuff. And honestly, I don't blame them because I mean, maintaining a server can get pretty pricey, especially back then. Especially for something that was that large, and that makes sense, right? God, fuck, I bought shit off a Guy Online before, flaming swords and all kinds of crazy shit. I charged it to my mom's phone bill. She was pissed about it. But yeah, I made it up. But I'm saying is that I had more fun on that forum than any other forum I've ever been on. Okay? And honestly, it was one of those things, and I miss Geo dearly. I do. The forums are great. But anyway, which is a far cry than what the U.C.T.F forums would have ever been. Their shit's called Anime City. Their shit is It's fucking horribly unorganized. That it's a shit site. It really is. Anyway, so somebody on the Guy Online forums found me. Because I was in a public, or I'm sorry, some former friend to President Vegeta, uh, ended up, is the goddamn traitor in my house? He is. I'm gonna kill your fucking mamas. Come here, and then I'm gonna kill you for being here in my house where you don't belong. That's what you get. Anyway, sorry. So, once I had settled on Diaz, or I'm sorry, when I initially started, I didn't get into the super thread forum role playing stuff until I started with Diaz. So when I started with my original character, Ryuso, I at the time was just kind of chatting with people just to try to get to know people really, and I ended up getting mentioning by accident. I wasn't trying to do it, but it got to um, we're having a conversation about crappy websites or bad experiences or something that had to do with old forums or something like that. And whatever, it's a fucking fountain. And I had mentioned that I used to be a part of a forum that was a bunch of fucking weeaboos and just they were generally terrible. And the guy thought he was Prince Vegeta. And then I got a message, and um, he's like, "Is the website you're talking about U.C.T.F?" And I said, "Yeah, why?" And he's like, "Because I used to be close friends with Vegeta." I was like, "Used to be? Or still am? Because if you're still friends with him, I don't want to talk to your ass." He goes, "No, I'm not friends with him. The guy's an idiot and he's a fucking loser." I said, "Okay, let's chat for a bit." And he let me in on a lot of shit. As soon as he asked me what was your name on the site, I said Ryu Kaiser. He goes, "Oh man, they did you dirty." I said, "You fucking think so?" You know, and of course, when I said that, he probably thought that I was like, "You really think so?" No, that was me being sarcastic. I was like, "You fucking think?" And then he goes, "Man, they did you dirty." I was like, "If anything, it was a screw job." I'm like, "Well, I'm glad he knew his wrestling lingo, but yeah, it was pretty much what he was." So this is what he told me. This is some of the juicy tidbits that I was waiting towards the end um, to talk about. First things first. He had at the time 6 people, 6 friends of his. All of them are a bunch of fucking marks. All of them are a bunch of fucking weebs. All of them are probably still are obsessed with Dragon Ball Z one way or another, or some fucking anime where they literally think that they are that anime character in real life, that they call themselves those names in real life. They don't address them by their real names. They call them those names. So one guy's name was Inuyasha. One guy's name was Kayade. One guy's name was shit. Um, I can't remember the name. Oh well, whatever. It's not important. And of course, President Vegeta, who went by Vegeta. Right? Dead serious. Dead ass. And he was the only one who really didn't want to do that. He just wanted to be called by his real fucking name. Right? But they weren't having it. So he had enough of their bullshit and he fucking left their group, their little clique. So as it turns out, um, President Vegeta has no idea how to market his website, has no idea how to promote it, had no idea how to do anything outside of running a website and barely knowing how to code. Okay, he and his 6 friends, and the former friend that I spoke to admitted to this, ended up creating and controlling roughly anywhere between 10 to 15 characters apiece, meaning that the entire roster of people were controlled by those 6 people, by those 6 individuals. The forum posts that were done were just stories that they were creating, and they were billing themselves to be these over-the-top heels and faces with all these wins. Essentially, they were creating their own wrestling organization, and for people that would find out about it, or somehow, I don't know how the fuck people would find it. Probably word of mouth through chat rooms. Those people would get royally fucked over in matches. They would just become jobbers. And even to the point where they would just leave, or they just didn't care about the wrestling aspect and just wanted to hone their craft when it comes to making stories. Okay? That's pretty much it. And I was fucking floored when I heard this shit. I was like, you gotta be kidding me. I was like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. You're joking, right? He's like, no. He's like, no, and then he dropped the bombshell. He goes, I was the one who wrote your death story uh, in the U.C.T.F. I was the one who wrote out the Green Hell in a Cell match and your death. I was the one who wrote it out under President Vegeta's instruction. I wrote everything out, and after that, I think I quit after a couple of months later. I was just done. I said, did you quit because you felt guilty about me? He goes, no. I mean, he's like, I did what I did, because I was friends with him, right? And yeah, I'll admit that there were times where I made fun of your character, but honestly, I think you got the raw deal, and I think it's fucked up. And I said, looking back, I really don't care. I don't give two fucks about his piddly little website. What I have here is far better and far superior to anything he'll ever be, and I was fine with that. I was content with that, and he agreed. He's like, "Yeah, this site is like endlessly better," and he kept telling me some more tidbits of information. He goes, so I had 6 people that were controlling and creating up to 15 characters, and he matches were always predetermined. The whole quality over quantity thing that Kaede would say, total bullshit. Absolute and utter total bullshit. It didn't matter what was said. In the end, it was all that. In the end, you were gonna either, if you weren't a close personal friend to Jamal, sorry, President Vegeta, if you weren't a close personal friend to him, or you didn't suck up to him or buy him gifts or send him hentai, that's right, your character would always lose. And some other stuff. So, more stuff based off of that conversation. So, the one that they call Kaede, who, when I looked at the moderator list and everything like that, he was into a very particular type of hentai. That's got to do with girls that are underage, you know? Yeah, he liked the lolicon a little bit. He actually liked it a lot of it. And, pretty gross. This guy told me everything. He told me some very dirty, very filthy fucking details to this guy's fucking collection. And I was like, holy shit, Now, here's the thing. As far as I know, the shit's not illegal. I don't know. I never looked it up, never had a reason to. But it's still fucked up. And I just kind of think it's funny that this guy who was such a fucking ball sniffer just an absolute filthy piece of shit, And let's see. So, when President Vegeta was just, again, very obsessed with hentai, loved hentai, all this other shit, he was just upset, which explains, like, so many different hentai characters were always on his website and everything like that. But, it's funny. Again, people are going to look at this and think, oh, well, it's sour grapes. It's really not. It's really not. I have a successful website that has been running strong for a while now. We've been to E3. We're acknowledged by video game publishers and developers because we earned it. His website, nobody fucking knows. Until I said something today. Nobody knows that site exists. And you know what? I'm not even going to shout out the name of the website. If you want to go look, if you want to Google it, go for it. I don't care. But just be amazed Just be amazed at how absolutely fucking cringeworthy it is and how fucking stupid it is. And Jamal, or President Vegeta, whatever the fuck you want to call yourself, buddy, if you come across this based on the hashtags and you got something to say, motherfucker, we can hash it out. I got a Discord. I'll gladly go toe-to-toe with you on Discord. If you want to bring your bitch boys with you, I'll go toe-to-toe with them too. Bring it. Please do. Please do, so I can verbally bitch slap the entire lot of you. Because you got nothing on me. You're a fucking mark. That's all you'll ever be. That's all you'll ever be is a fucking mark. Right? They're the scourge of wrestling fans everywhere. Nobody likes marks. And I'm sorry, but Goku is stronger than Vegeta. And will always be stronger than Vegeta. Maybe during the Moro arc, Vegeta had the upper hand for a while when he got those new techniques when he trained on Yardrat. But sorry, Goku mastered Ultra Instinct. Vegeta's now back to being second place. Sorry, bro. But yeah, if you come across this and you got beef and you want to talk some shit, we'll do it publicly and we'll do it on Discord. I am not afraid of you, pal, or your fucking friends. So I'm just telling you right now. So yeah, this has been a very interesting trip down memory lane because I had to really think about this. You know, I was hanging out with my brother random today, and I was like, you know what? We were watching, and it was one of the things I wanted to point out was we were watching some YouTube, and I noticed that a lot of YouTubers like Caleb City, who's really fucking funny, and Chiseled Adonis that my brother showed me today, they make a lot of wrestling and video game and anime references in a lot of their videos. And the second that I heard that shit, I was like, oh my god, I fucking remember that shitty website. You know, and I thought about it, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to dunk on their asses tonight. It's a memory, because I remember it. And I just, yeah. It's a shit memory is what it is, because it really kind of soured the online experience. And I know I should have done much more in Minecraft, but honestly, I don't really know what to do. Like, I would get easily distracted. I might need to play a different game when I do the memories, the Memories series or something like that. But Minecraft and Memories just kind of stuck together. Like, it just works, you know. But hey, you know, I can always change it to something else. I can just, if it, I can think of something else, then I can do it and go back and edit the titles of the videos later. But so, what's my takeaway from all of this? What's the lesson that I learned? Stay away from people who think they're anime characters. Like, seriously, give them a wide berth. Just if you don't know them and you don't want to deal with them, do whatever you got to do to get them the fuck out of your face, because they got problems, and chances are they've not been diagnosed properly, or they're not on their meds. And people like him who literally think he's a fucking second-rate anime character. I'm sorry, Vegeta fanboys, but he really is second-rate, man. The dude had an opportunity to kill Frieza in Resurrection F, and did he? No, he just wanted to sit there and shit-talk, and what happened? Fucking Frieza blows up the planet, Whis had to turn back time, Goku had to step in and do Vegeta's job for him. You see what I'm saying? Like, he's a second-rate character. I mean, yeah, he's got cool abilities, and sure, he gave everybody Trunks, but goddamn, man, like, no, come on. You know, sorry, you know, and again, I know I dunked on Geekdom earlier, and I don't really like YouTubers that have to e-beg for Patreons. I mean, not e-beg on Patreon, but like, this guy gatekeeps. For one, like, he's like, oh, I'm gonna do a Q&A, right, but I'm only gonna do Q&As for my subscribers or my Patreon. I'm like, why? Well, then what about the 500,000 other, you know, it's like, what about the, you know, 400 and I guess 990 something thousand other subscribers that watch your shit and they don't have the money or the means to pay your fucking ass, you know? Like, you're just gonna completely, raw dog them out of content? Fuck that shit. And I'm glad somebody in the comment section put them on blast for that. And I'm putting them on blast too. You know? Yeah. You know your shit when it comes to Dragon Ball Z, and the only reason you know it is because you read the manga. Well, guess what, motherfucker? I read the manga too. All right, and some of your opinions are kind of bullshit, but that's cool. That's why they're your opinions. It doesn't mean they have to be right. But you're not the fucking grand authority on Dragon Ball Z. All right, somebody should probably tell you that, and I'm hoping one day somebody does. Maybe it's me. As for the U.C.T.F, the only good thing about the U.C.T.F that I remember, that I can honestly say, is that it honed my ability to write. It honed my ability to come up with original content, and really strengthened my conviction in calling people out for their stupid shit. So anyway, so yeah, that's my trip down memory lane in an hour and 20 minutes. A lot shorter than my Anime Land Wasabi episode because that was a lot to unpack. This one was also a little bit more, not a lot, but a little bit to unpack. And I don't regret anything I said. I don't take back anything I said. Everything I said is my own opinion. Where that's concerned, that site is garbage. The mods were garbage. The owner of the site is an absolute fuck ass. And I, I went to I found him on the website again. I went and looked, and sure, the look has changed, but it hasn't been updated since like 2015 or 2009 or something like that. He made a post in news, trying to get people to think, oh, maybe I should start posting stuff again. Bro, no one's gonna come to your stupid fucking website. No one's gonna go to your website. You want to know why? The only reason I went and looked you up is so I can make sure that I had my facts correct when I was gonna dunk on your ass. But nobody is out of there in their right mind is going to go to your website and post and feed into your ego. Do you want to know why? Because people love to get laid. Okay? People have jobs. People have children. People have lives. Unlike you, who clearly does not, and really needs a reality check. Um, Getting people to go to your website when you don't know how to market jack shit ain't happening, pal. If I were you, I would just pack it up, close it down, save yourself about $40 a month or whatever, and invest that shit into something else, man. Just understand that you should just take the L and live with it, and understand that you're a mark and will always be a mark. And again, my offer and challenge still stands. If you feel the need that you want to come at me and discuss this on Discord, I'd be more than happy to. Hit me up, please. I dare ya. Anyway, I'm Tanuki. Thank you so much for watching. Again, you can follow me on Twitter at BoboFett. And I'm also on the gram, on Instagram, where I post a lot of offensive shit because that's just who I am. You can follow me at Tanuki. And as always, my website is brokenanalog.com. And again, shouting out to Oni Blackmage. You can check his channel out at youtube.com/Oni Blackmage, or just search it. Funny guy, really nice, very nice guy. Really cool to just lay back and listen to and hear back those stories of old school RPGs. You know, when RPGs were good, when RPGs were awesome, right? That's what those were. Those were good times. Those are better times. Right. Anyway, so that being said, thank you so much for stopping by, and I'll probably see you very, very soon. And that being said, y'all take care. Have a good Saturday. And yeah, never good at goodbyes. But anyway, thanks again for watching.